It has grossed over $200 million. It introduced the world to the most dynamic action star of this century.
Bruce Lee's most famous movie has a dark and hidden story behind it. We've been collecting tons of data to tackle corruption, but proving it is a whole different beast. But how could someone in such a secure setup be clueless about Bruce Lee? Let's dig into the darker, hidden story behind Enter the Dragon. Bruce Lee's quest for global stardom. Bruce Lee understood the fight, whether it was against an opponent or something deeper, like corruption. He was a man who gathered knowledge with precision, but he knew that proving oneself or a cause was a far greater challenge. In every action, he became the embodiment of focus and strength. If Bruce were to take on the task, he'd step forward with confidence, knowing he was entering not just a secure place, but a fortress. As the iron gates would open and the eyes of cameras fix on him, he'd remember. The walls have ears, and every shadow could hide a friend or foe. He would face it all with unwavering awareness, prepared for whatever came next. Once, a talented programmer at Sterling Silicon shared an intriguing fact. She was surprised to learn that someone was unfamiliar with Bruce Lee, describing him as one of the most influential martial arts instructors to ever live. This sparked a newfound interest and marked the beginning of an engaging journey. Upon joining forces with the teams at Warner Brothers and Sterling Silicon, James Coburn introduced a screenplay titled The Silent Flute, penned specifically for Bruce by Sterling. This connection led to a budding friendship, characterized by frequent outings and discussions about martial arts over dinner. Through these interactions, an appreciation for Chinese martial arts, then largely unrecognized in America, began to blossom. At the time, the idea of a Chinese actor leading in American cinema was met with little enthusiasm. The reality of breaking into American television seemed bleak, especially with roles in shows like The Green Hornet, not fully capturing Bruce's dynamic presence. Despite the challenges, the encouragement to pursue bigger opportunities remained. When Raymond Chow presented an opportunity with a film called The Big Boss, encouragement was given to seize it. After missing a role in Kung Fu, a return to Hong Kong led to an unexpected rise to stardom. Bruce's career flourished, transforming him into an iconic figure across Asia almost instantaneously, surpassing any level of fame he had previously experienced. One time he appeared on a TV show where martial artists were breaking ice and bricks with their bodies. When they asked for his opinion, he called their stunts pointless. The host and audience pushed him to show his skills, so he agreed. He delivered a sidekick that broke boards wrapped in tape, and everyone was shocked as the boards flew apart dramatically. After that, influential people like Run Run Shaw and Raymond Chow started competing for his attention. We talked a lot about his projects. It was clear he was serious about them, but Raymond, even though he was making money, seemed unsure about letting him become an international star. Raymond eventually came to the realization that the project might not be as promising as initially hoped. Not long after this admission, he found himself seated in a Japanese restaurant where he was informed of his partner's decision to leave. The reason was clear: Raymond's lack of enthusiasm for his partner's aspirations to become a global icon. Despite Raymond's reservations about his partner's potential on an international stage, he recognized the proficiency in crafting local martial arts films. After some reflection, Raymond decided to support the ambitious plan. The following day, Raymond's partner introduced him to Michael Allen, a young and relatively unestablished writer whom his partner had been observing for some time. Michael, known in Hong Kong for his innovative approach to film, was a new figure to Raymond. The plan was for Michael to craft a screenplay tailored for his partner. Michael dove into the project with zeal, rapidly absorbing knowledge about martial arts and Hong Kong's unique cinematic style. The collaboration proved fruitful, and within 3 weeks, they had a completed screenplay, a testament to their swift and efficient teamwork. He was becoming extremely popular in Hong Kong. He couldn't even walk down the street without people recognizing him. By 1971, he was a huge star in Asia. But he knew that if he kept making traditional martial arts films, he would stay in Asia forever. He wanted to show big international stars like Coburn and McQueen that he could be a global icon too. So he set out to create a movie that would make him look unstoppable, where he would clearly be the most captivating of three heroes in the film. This movie was crafted to show him off on the world stage. Bringing a dream to life isn't simple as we start building the sets, crafting drama in cinematic spaces. But simplicity was elusive from the outset. As the screenplay began to take shape, the urgency to construct sets escalated to match the tight timeline. The person was enchanted in childhood by the vibrant comic strip Terry and the Pirates, which painted a vivid tableau of China with its cast of exotic characters draped in bright hues of red, blue, and gold. This childhood fascination guided the visual direction of the project. Collaborating with Dale Hennessy, a sketch artist, they conceived the primary sets, which included a vast cave and various segments of a prison that would ensnare the protagonist. Further, they orchestrated a banquet scene and prepared a dossier of materials to be sent to Chinese designers in Hong Kong. These designers excelled, bringing the sets to life with remarkable fidelity. The director, Bob Klaus, alongside the person, aimed to encapsulate the enchanting ambiance of Hong Kong through a distinct photographic approach. They often initiated scenes shrouded in darkness, revealing characters only as they emerged into the light, creating a theatrical effect. This technique made lighting particularly challenging. Rather than illuminating the entire scene, they employed focused lighting to enhance the drama, adding to the magical allure of the film. Bob managed an incredible overhead shot that looked stunning, capturing the characters moving between shadow and light. This added a lot of depth and intrigue to the story's visual style. It was a tough shot to pull off, but it paid off in the end. The filming commenced behind the confining grids of bird enclosures, obscuring the view and shrouding the identities of those present in ambiguity. This choice in setting was deliberate, aiming to cloak the unfolding events in mystery and uncertainty. The lighting was carefully manipulated to enhance this effect, casting shadows that made the environment seem both unfamiliar and enticing. The director, Freddie, had envisioned a film that not only captivated with its exotic locales and cinematography, but also stood out for its unique approach to storytelling. The narrative was to be a modern action thriller, yet distinctly devoid of the cliched resolutions typically found in such genres. Central to the plot was Han, a character shaped by a traumatic brush with death. His aversion to firearms stemmed from a near-fatal encounter that left him deeply wary of becoming a target again. This fear influenced his methods, choosing strategies that eschewed conventional weaponry, which added a layer of complexity to his interactions and challenges. Opposite Han was the antagonist, crafted to be not just a foil to the protagonist, but a memorable embodiment of malevolence. This character was not merely evil for the sake of being a villain. There was a profound belief in their actions, a conviction that what they were doing was justified, which painted their deeds with shades of gray rather than stark black and white. This depth was crucial in developing a narrative that was as thought-provoking as it was thrilling, ensuring the audience remained engaged and reflective on the nature of right and wrong. When the antagonist arrived, he was treated with respect because of his fierce commitment and the tough training he demanded from his followers. We introduced Han's Island as a made-up place for our story. We created it by mixing different photos of islands and estates taken from a small plane flown by one of our actors. This combination gave us the unique setting of Han's Island for the film. Interestingly, Roy Cho, another actor, played a monk in an early scene that was actually shot on a tennis court. We cleverly disguised it to look like a training ground for Han's followers. Our film team faces new challenges with simple tools and tough conditions, the unexpected trials of overseas filming. Our production team, used to the high-end Hollywood sets, suddenly found themselves working with basic equipment in far from perfect conditions overseas. The film lab was in poor shape, with dust and cobwebs everywhere, yet we still managed to develop clear, high-quality film. Our lighting tools were very simple, mostly made up of window screens, black paper, and rope. We had big dreams for this project, which made using these basic tools even more challenging. The language issues were just one of many hurdles, but more than anything, what really pushed us was our commitment to make something unique, even if it meant working under tougher conditions than we were used to. The journey wasn't without its initial hiccups. Every time a comment was made, the crew mistakenly thought it was in jest. However, as time progressed, mutual understanding deepened. Familiarity among the members grew, paving the way for a collaborative environment. The complexities of the work did not deter their spirit. Instead, they learned to relish the challenges. Tasks that involved intricate details like manipulating lights or demonstrating specific needs were met with enthusiasm and precision. This synergy not only made the work process smoother, but also fostered a sense of enjoyment and accomplishment among everyone involved. The skill of the Chinese craftsman was amazing. Bob had a vision for the island. He wanted to fill the place with lots of flags. We needed flags, but there weren't any poles to hang them on, so we had to get them made. An older man arrived one day with just a bag of plaster, some sticks, and some wire. By the end of the day, he had managed to create either a 4-foot statue of a dragon or a 6-foot statue of a Chinese warrior. It was really impressive. Casting for the movie turned into quite the adventure. John Saxon was selected for his interest in martial arts, a hobby gaining traction globally. Surprisingly, his skills were exceptional. While discussing a scene set on a golf course with Bob Kraus and Fred Weintraub, high kicks were demonstrated, showcasing the agility retained. Fixing issues on the set proved challenging despite initial confidence. Reflecting on those times, it seems there was an overestimation of capabilities. Observing the crew labor intensively over 8 days of continuous fight scenes provided a new perspective. By the end of that period, exhaustion had set in, and there was a strong desire to move away from karate-themed projects in favor of drama, craving the depth and emotional engagement it offered. During this period, Bruce was highly vocal, continuously sharing his thoughts and suggestions. When it came to the martial arts experts, we usually turned to him for the final decision since he was the one working with them directly in their training areas. He had worked with many of these people in the United States before. Bob knew him, probably from different competitions. Over time, a bond formed between the two, marked by a blend of friendly teasing and competitive spirits, especially evident during their film project. They often exchanged clever remarks, embedding a subtle rivalry into their interactions. A particular incident involving broken glass escalated into an exaggerated tale. Throughout the filming process, they encountered the challenge of working with real glass, as safety glass was not available in Hong Kong at the time. This limitation fueled rampant speculation and unfounded rumors. Each redo of the pivotal scene, 8 in total, required the breaking of real bottles. He was encouraged to handle the glass assertively, emphasizing the realism of each motion, particularly when thrusting forward with a shard in his right hand. The director's insistence on authenticity pushed them to focus on the smallest details, striving for a perfect depiction of each moment. New faces and daring stunts add unexpected turns to our project. The last-minute casting of a martial arts legend. During one intense take, a swift lunge resulted in a minor accident. As he raised his hand in a spinning motion, it inadvertently struck the glass, leading to a small cut. This incident, though accidental, underscored the inherent risks of their commitment to realism. But that wasn't the most surprising part. One of the most memorable things about the casting process was finding Jim Kelly. It was a very last-minute decision. At first, another actor was supposed to play the role, but he backed out just 2 days before leaving. In a rush, we went to the studio and found Jim practicing there late at night. He was impressive. Another favorite of mine was Angela Mao, who played his sister. She was small and charming, yet an amazing martial artist. We first noticed her when we saw her starring in a film while we were in Anka. She grabbed our attention immediately with her skill and willingness to work with us. William's excellence was unmistakable. From the moment he removed his shirt, everyone agreed that he was perfect for the film, At the same time, Peter Archer found himself in Hong Kong. Known locally as a skilled martial artist, his prowess had made him a standout. The boat scene was particularly memorable. It was filmed on a traditional junk boat departing from Aberdeen Harbor, featuring a thrilling moment where a character leapt from the deck, enhancing the excitement of the scene. After disembarking from the main vessel, another character found themselves in a small rowboat. It was assumed they had been aboard the main boat the entire time, and this was indeed the case. An intense disagreement had erupted between Bruce Lee and another individual. Suddenly, the character was trailing behind the boat, clinging to a long rope. Bruce Lee had been meant to join them, but instead had demanded a slowdown in the rescue operation. Commands blared from a loudspeaker, instructing the character to pull on the rope. Frustrated, they tugged angrily as the front of the rowboat dipped beneath the waves. Now, the boy who once was just a small kid from the monastery had grown into a famous director in Hong Kong, Hakuna. His journey to this point wasn't easy, but it was certainly remarkable. At another point in our conversation, we talked about nuclear strategy without reaching any clear agreement, even as everyone asked for a better understanding of the unfolding events. We were all set to pack up and head home, but he, still buzzing with excitement from watching the early cuts of the film, decided to keep filming. He wanted to add an extra scene at the monastery. He called in Sammo Hung, an old friend, to help improve the scene. They spent time discussing how to make it work, planning out every detail before they began filming. When the filming finally wrapped up, we saved the most exciting part for last, the Dragon Lady scene in Anna Capri. Anna, one of the lead actors, had been looking for a chance to work far from home since her mother had passed away. Her agent had offered her a role in a film called Enter the Dragon, starring him, a name she didn't recognize at the time. Without much thought, she agreed and caught a flight that very night. Armed with a small camera her father had given her, Anna captured candid moments of the cast and crew. These snapshots, though random, added a personal touch to her memories of the shoot. The location was just as unforgettable. At a formal lunch in a grand estate, she learned that the next filming spot was close by, marked by fluttering yellow flags, signaling the next step in their project with him. The film takes shape as personal and professional worlds collide, behind the stunts and screens. But this wasn't the toughest part. At first, there was some anxiety, and he was so nervous he didn't show up right away. However, once filming began, a mix of professional dedication and personal stories brought their experiences on the iconic movie's set to life. The morning was bright and early, an opportune time to initiate the project, especially since the payment had already been secured. Frequent visits from a Warner Brothers representative underscored the urgency and importance of the task at hand. Despite the lack of tangible progress, reassurances flowed easily, praising the non-existent footage with enthusiastic declarations of its quality. The filmmaker found solace and inspiration in the lush, rolling hills of Hong Kong. The camera captured the essence of the city through dynamic car rides and picturesque settings, preparing meticulously for the upcoming studio scenes. These preparatory shots were crucial, providing a backdrop of authenticity and vibrancy to the project. After that, he and Tony really picked up the pace. His presence made everything better, and he was becoming a vital part of the team. He was doing a fantastic job as the film's stunt coordinator. When it came to writing the screenplay, we created special action scenes to showcase his amazing fight choreography. These were designed by both him and the director. He had a real talent for working with others, choreographing the fights, and leading the whole team with his energy. The influence of the stuntman extended beyond his personal feats, impacting the entire crew significantly. With an acute awareness of action, the director succeeded in presenting scenes with a dynamic flair. This was particularly evident during the cave fight scene, where the stuntman's motions were notably distinct, and his charismatic presence was unmistakable. Observers, including other stunt performers such as Jackie Chan, who once worked on Enter the Dragon, were visibly impressed by the unique display of talent that set him apart from others. His abilities did not go unnoticed, showcasing how he brought an extraordinary element to the film that was admired by his peers and viewers alike. Being in Hong Kong and seeing how the locals admired him as a hero was a powerful experience. He was incredibly creative. He would walk through the elaborate sets we built and immediately find ways to incorporate the environment into his fight scenes. It felt like a non-stop creative session, where we kept adapting and adding new elements, making the scenes richer and more exciting. The stay at a quaint hotel in Repulse Bay revealed an unexpected source of inspiration. While heading to lunch one day, a peculiar mirror split into multiple panels drew attention. Initially dismissed as too fragmented for a fight scene, the mirror's potential was soon recognized. Klaus and another saw something special in it, advocating for its inclusion in the film. Their persistence led to the creation of an entire room filled with similar mirrors, which turned out to be visually stunning. Upon showing the mirrored room to others, including the initially skeptical individual, the reaction was overwhelmingly positive. The excitement was palpable, as everyone realized how this innovative idea could elevate the visual storytelling of their film to new heights. What other overlooked objects could transform a film's narrative? Comment your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more.